Hello. Yeah, you may believe that I'm talking with you, but I'm talking with myself. And I'm making this video because I like to talk with myself. And so the fact that you happen to hear it, or that you are lucky enough to hear someone who is as relaxed as I am, that he is able to have a conversation with himself, doesn't make any difference. I'm not talking with you. I'm talking with myself. And if you would be talking with me, you would also be talking with yourself. And that's the different kind of talk that I'm into. And you are still not even understanding that it's possible. Yeah, of course it is possible. But you just don't do it. You never get around to talking with yourself. You somehow believe that talking with others is more important. Well, I don't. As a matter of fact, talking with myself is much more important than talking with anybody else. I mean, with you or with anybody else. And believe me, I have talked with a lot of people. And this, you could say, this conclusion that I find talking with myself more important than talking with others, it didn't come out of the blue. It came after I have talked with so many people and have really felt and experienced that it just doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't mean anything. It is useless. Whereas this talking with myself, it is so useful. It is so pleasurable. It is so helpful. It is so meaningful. So that's why I do this. And it's also very relaxing. And so, this is something that is completely lacking in any kind of conversation, that we are unable to actually find our expression of our well-being. So how can that conversation be any good if we cannot feel good, if we cannot feel happy, if we cannot feel safe, if we cannot feel at ease? It's a big problem. We're just continuously communicating our stress and our frustration and our our distrust and our defensiveness. I don't do that. I don't feel like that's what I'm into. I'm into this, and that's why I'm talking with myself. Because with myself I can have this, but with most people I cannot have this. And it's very unfortunate that you cannot have this, you who listens to this. And of course you can, in principle, everybody can. But you will not have it unless you take time, like I do, to talk out loud with yourself and to let yourself know that you're talking with other people didn't get you anywhere. It just made you more frustrated. It just made you more, more paranoid, more angry, more uncertain, more confused. And this talking, which I am addressing, it just makes you feel completely clear. And it is very simple, but it is also very meaningful. And it's at the same time also very complex too. Because while you listen to yourself and talk with yourself, things come together in a way that they cannot otherwise do. You feel a oneness, you experience a oneness with yourself and at easiness with yourself, which, yeah. This, by the way, this reminds me, my songs and my play on my ukulele. I know that my songs are kind of slow, and I know that my ukulele playing is not that good. But I can only play very slow. I cannot play very fast. But it's funny how the songs that I sing and how the songs that I play, they also say something about my way of talking, which only gets better the slower I go. and of course, you may not agree with me. You may find my way of talking way too slow for you to be interested, and probably it doesn't even catch your attention for very long. But I find personally my way of talking more interesting than what anybody else says, and I also find my songs nicer than most other songs. and the songs, I give my own version of the song that was written by somebody else. I find my version better than the original. Hey, yeah, you can call me arrogant. I don't care. You can call me self-centered. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not hurting anybody by talking with myself, okay? And I'm not making any claims about, about this that are kind of outrageous. As a matter of fact, I'm very factual about this. And my songs, they are so slow because the more slow I go, the better my embodied language becomes. And the more you as a listener, which of course is me, myself, but you can listen to it too. The more I as my own listener, if you want to call it that way, because it's just a figure of speech that I am the listener and that I'm the speaker. It's just such a weird, complicated conundrum that the speaker is the listener. What the hell? These are just words, that we speak, and there is no such thing as a speaker or a listener. There's just, me speaking and listening. Yeah. And there's no me inside of me. So there is nobody actually who's doing the talking. And that is what is so relaxing. So when I go really slow, or when I just allow myself to be fully engaged with my own language, I embody my language and I feel extremely happy. And at the same time, I also feel like, yeah, I'm a nobody. And in my opinion, everybody who is having this kind of conversation with himself or with herself would experience this well-being that is the consequence of being a nobody. And everybody, of course, makes a big deal about being somebody while they talk, right? And with our language, we always try to be somebody. And yeah, of course, I've done that too, I'm just like everybody else. I also was conditioned in that way. But in spite of my conditioning, I have stumbled on this embodied language, and I began to feel so good about it that I kept going back to it, in spite of the fact that I kept falling back into my old conditioning with disembodied language, and started to pretend all kind of things, and starting to talk faster and talk more intensely and talk more, you could say bombastically, being a pompous, knowledgeable person, some sort of professor. I've actually been somewhat of a professor. I was a psychology instructor at Butte College. But all that is behind me now. I've stopped teaching, and while I'm having this conversation with myself, I'm not teaching you anything. I'm not teaching anybody anything. I'm not even teaching myself anything. I'm simply talking with myself about what has happened and what is happening, and that's it. And I just enjoy doing that. So, yeah, and so in this being a nobody, I am myself. So being yourself is being a nobody. Yeah, and everybody's trying to be somebody. And I too, I was also trying to be somebody. And, when you watch a couple of these videos that people make, they always try to be special, and they always try to, attract the audience's attention with their particular gift or their particular skill or their particular, what is it? Their trick. Oh, I have no tricks. I have no, yeah, I wouldn't even call this a skill, because it's just what I do when I don't do what my conditioning tells me to do. It's just what I naturally do. And you can't practice for this. You cannot, I don't know, learn this. If you try to learn this, you will never learn this. So you have to give up this idea about learning, and you have to also not become this, because if you try to become this, you will never attain it. Because, yeah, you are just a nobody, and that's all there is to it. So you're just having fun by yourself, and at the expense of anybody who might hear this, because people probably puzzled about it, like, what the hell is this guy doing? But yeah, I'm not here to amuse you, I'm here to have fun with myself and to amuse myself. And my embodied language is primarily for me. And if it is for you, it is only for those who themselves can have this. So if you happen to be that person, I would love to talk with you, then we can laugh about this together. But if you can't do that, then I don't mind if you stay away. I always believed that I wanted to be in contact with you, but I really don't. And, and now I also retrospectively understand why I was undermining myself and always basically, you could say, it wasn't really undermining myself. I was just staying true to myself. And but it seemed like every time I had created something, then I sort of just tossed it away. I just left it again, because it wasn't really it. It wasn't really it for me. And I've done many things with my beliefs about how it is to have embodied language. And of course, the fact that I discovered this a long time ago, somewhere in my 20s, did not mean that I was all of a sudden finished with my conditioning history, because that conditioning history had already gone on for some 20 years. And I've been busy ever since, actually, becoming conscious about this conditioning, and which is, of course, not only my conditioning, it's everybody's conditioning. Everybody is conditioned to have disembodied language. And so nobody does what I do at this moment, nobody does that. I mean, people may do that a little bit, once in a blue moon, because they feel terrible about something, that they start to talk with themselves. But they don't really at any length talk with themselves just because it feels so good, just because they love it, just because they like it, just because they want it. Just because they know that talking with themselves is better than talking with somebody else. And of course, again, I mean this, it only means, of course, talking with yourself is better than talking with somebody else who doesn't know this. Yeah, because somebody who does know this, and I know a person who knows this, yeah, my dear friend, Annemiek, yeah, She knows this. So we can talk like this together. It's just fantastic. And it's just amazing that there is nobody else who wants this. What is wrong with you people? I can tell you what's wrong. What's wrong is that you are not in touch with yourself. That's what is wrong. And you're not allowed to have this. You're not allowed to be with yourself like this. As comfortable as this. As calm as this. As in your own world, in your own space, in your own rhythm, with your own sound, in your own bed. It has nothing to do with your stupid mind, you know. Your mind is just a fancy. It has nothing to do with what you believe or what you supposedly think, because all of that has nothing to do with this. There's no thought involved in this. There's no mind involved in this. All that is out of the door. You believed in all that nonsense because you weren't having this. So we believe in all kind of, complete falsehoods, which prevent you from having this. And all these falsehoods are supposedly more important than this. Well, not for me, and not for Annemiek, or not for anyone else who will come and join us. Because, you know, you either do this or you don't. And so this is not a matter of believing this, or it's not a matter of understanding this. It's not a matter of, trying this. Forget about trying. You either do it or you don't. Yeah, so I'm doing it. And so it's funny, you know. I'm having this camera or this cell phone in my hand, and I'm looking at myself. Of course, I'm hearing myself, and I'm sitting here in my bed on a Saturday morning. It's so hilarious. Then I'm just looking at myself, and I say, yeah, there he is. That's me. It's such a nice thing. And and so this is my great achievement. This is my great trick. This is my TikTok video. And this is how the world is going to change. Yes, you may call me crazy, but if the world is going to change, if there's going to be real change in this world, that people become more, kind and more mature and more understanding of themselves, of course, first, and then of each other. If they become more peaceful and less violent and, less confused and less stressed out and less worried and less frustrated, it is because of this. Yeah, and I know you don't believe me. I know. That's just fine. I'm talking to you, okay? I'm not talking with myself. Sometimes I take a little sidestep here, and then momentarily I don't talk with myself and I talk with you, and you probably notice I get a little bit serious and a little icky, and I know that I do that, and I don't want to do that, I want to just stay true to myself, true to my own being, true to my own embodied language, true to my own enlightenment, because this is my enlightenment, I call it language enlightenment. And this way of talking, and I know you don't believe me, but I believe it. And actually, I don't believe it. Forget about believing it. There's no need to believe it. You either experience it or you don't. And I experience it. So that's not a belief. I experience that my embodied language expresses my language enlightenment. Yeah? And my natural state of being can only be expressed by my embodied language. Yeah. And we would only have a real relationship if we both have embodied language. If we all have embodied language. Without embodied language, there's no real relationship. There's no connection. So that's the problem. That's your problem, not mine. It's your problem. But I don't have that problem. I've solved my problem. And I don't have any problems. And it's also so funny that I don't have any problem. And so you can only talk like this with yourself and feel so completely at ease when you are absolutely sure that there's no problem anymore to be addressed. There's nothing asking your attention, demanding your attention. You've given attention to everything that asks attention. And so that is what I've been doing for many years. And now everything that's in my attention immediately is expressed with my embodied language, and nothing is asking my attention anymore. So that's what language enlightenment is, that you are completely, transparent or spacious, or you can also say, enlightened, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what words. You can also say natural or at ease, or, there's all kinds of ways to refer to it. But please don't call it that you're now a child of God or something like that, because when people start talking about their religion and bringing in all kinds of spiritual mumbo-jumbo, the experience won't last very long. Because, this is how you just keep preventing yourself from having this experience. And then you can also begin to, maybe at some point, if you do this more often, you begin to realize like, oh, so that was all just instead of this. And there's so much other stuff that we claim that it is so important, but it is actually taking the place of this. And once you have this, you realize it was absolutely not important. It was total. It was a waste of time. It was a loss of energy. It was just, it was just one big messed up, it was just one big messed up bundle of misery that you were busy with. And when you talk like this with yourself, you kind of step out of that nightmare. So would I call this a path? No, it's not a path. Forget about your path. There's no path. You just need to talk out loud with yourself. That's it. And it's not a path. It's not a technique. It's not a, it's not a, what is it? Your goal. No, you either do it or you don't. I mean, let's say, for instance, you go to the bathroom every day. You need to pee or you need to take a shit. Now, is taking a shit your path? Is being your path? letting go of your excrement. Is that your path? Of course not. So get with it. You make something into something which it is not. And so talking with yourself is just talking with yourself. And obviously, when you speak like I do, you hear yourself. You can write about this. I have done that. And when you write about this, you will be even more cautious about what you write about it, because what you will write about this is perhaps something that will only become coherent after you have spoken enough with yourself so that it can actually become completely your embodied language, but then in your writing. Yeah, the writing which you, of course, can read and which other people can read. And so this adjustment, so to speak, because it is an adjustment to your embodied language, you leave your disembodied language behind and you adjust to your embodied language. And so this adjustment, which of course happens over time, and which if you begin to integrate this into your life, as just like you would have any other healthy habit, I don't know, maybe you go jogging, or maybe you go working out, or you go, we do things to which we enjoy, which make us feel good, whether it is making music or dancing, or there's many other things we can do. But this is one of those things that we can do, a very important thing, because talking with ourselves and listening to ourselves, of course, sets the stage for then how we write about talking and listening to ourselves. And then this speaking and listening and writing and reading, it begins to have its effect on our other behavior. That is, our language begins to modify practically each and every behavior that we have, whether it is our sleeping pattern, our work pattern, our way of interacting with others, whether it is, how we take care of ourselves, how we eat. We become conscious of every action, of everything we do, because we talk about it, we describe it, we hear it, we experience it, we are aware of it. And so this being busy with your language makes you conscious. And being conscious of yourself is not the same as when people say, oh, I'm feeling self-conscious. Feeling self-conscious is like you're being scrutinized by somebody else. But no, you are actually in touch with yourself. You are actually experiencing yourself. And that is a very beneficial, calming, soothing, and stabilizing experience. So that is, all of a sudden my stomach says, I had a stomach murmur, and it is kind of around the time that it is time for lunch. So I'm gonna leave it here for now, because in a little while I'm gonna eat something, and I'd love to eat something right now. But this whole way of dealing with language, first is speaking and listening while you speak. It really sets the stage for how you deal with language and for how you deal with any other behavior. And I am in that process, I'm still seeing how my behavior is actually changing because of all of that. There's not a day that goes by on which I experience how my behavior has improved, which is so different. When I was a kid in school, I always got bad marks for my behavior, and it says, back in the days I was going by the name Max, because that's how I was called when I was young, Max. And now I call myself Maximus, because that's my real name, unabbreviated. And but in those days, Max, it was always said by the school teacher, Max is still misbehaving. and behavior is still lacking any positive consequences or something like that. I got punished all the time, and I got scolded, and I had to do chores or whatever. I was always sent out and stuff like that. Yeah. But anyway, my behavior today is just so good that I've become a really well-behaved person. And that's not because of the opinions of others, but it is my own opinion. And I have a very high opinion of myself. Yeah, I mean, it cannot be any other way if you consider yourself to be enlightened. And so I'm going to leave you with that. And I'm going to have something to eat now. But before I stop, and I want to once again, you know, because I can tell I got a little hyped up here because I get excited, you know. But I just want you to bear with me for a little bit and let this expression that I have just given have its effect. And I allow myself to experience the effect of what I've just said. You can't make this up. I'm not making this up. Usually my wife calls me if lunch is ready, so I'm kind of silently waiting for that. But maybe she just says like, well, I'm not going to call him. He'll come out by himself if he's hungry. If you have really listened to me, you will experience this bliss that I'm feeling. It's not just something that I experience, you can experience it too. And it's a total, complete, and satisfying let go of everything you know. And unless that happens, yeah, there's no change. Everything stays the same. You're just repeating yourself. Mm. And I know I may sound like I am repeating myself, but I'm not. According to me, I'm not. And if you believe I'm repeating myself, you're just not listening. Mm. I call this also, of course, meditation. Mm. This is how meditation enters into our conversation. When we can have meditative communication, of course. It's amazing that we, you know, that we still believe the earth is flat when it comes to communication, you know, as if this is impossible, as if communication is something else than this. Well, it is this. And if it isn't this, it isn't communication. It's just a flat out lie. We keep pushing each other around and we keep just stressing ourselves, frustrating ourselves by not having this. I'm already having this. And the question for you is, are you going to join me or not? That's all. That's all this is, you know. This is why I even feel like, okay, well, you know, what else can I do? This is my TikTok video, or this is my great gift. This is my skid. This is my shtick. No, this is just who I am. And you can be who you are too. And you're probably much funnier that way. Much more enjoyable. And perhaps you end up being someone who moves people, who helps people to feel again, to acknowledge that yes, these feelings are true, and I need to attend to my feelings. I need to attend to what is really going on with me. I mean, how can we do that if our language doesn't capture it, if our language bypasses it? So this is embodied language, and what you hear is an enlightened human being. And my name is Maximus Peperkamp, and you can get in touch with me on Skype. If you go to Skype, you can type in the word limbic ease, LIMBICEASE, limbic ease, and then yeah, you can befriend me, and then we can talk. It's just as simple as that. It's just amazing how wonderful this feels to make this video, and how pleasant it is. It's like, wow, it's so enjoyable. And it's so subtle, you know, so everything settles, and the more you go on with it, the deeper your relaxation and your well-being becomes. Oh, I know a way to sum it all up. I have a song. I have my own I create many songs, so I also have my own version of the national anthem. And so here is my, you know, I'm an immigrant from the Netherlands, but I am an American now. And so the song that I'm going to sing for you is kind of like a summary of what I've just said. Okay, I'm going to stand up because that's what I do, you know. Salute the flag. Here, wait. I have a nice pillow here. You see that? This is my pillow. Yeah, I Oh, yes, you are good. You have made it so far. You became who you are. Why do you not accept it? Your achievements are real. You have worked very hard. Take some time to enjoy all the things you've created. It is your destiny to discover yourself. Let let go of your fears. Everything will work out. I sing to reinforce you. Let me stimulate your being. I believe that you can change into somebody